Good evening, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. It is the first Tuesday of the month. In this case, the first day of the month in June. And it's time for the monthly MAWDC show, which is what the subject is for the next at least hour and a half and perhaps 2 hours, and maybe a little over, but not much. And we are honored tonight to have Dr. Ann Pringle, who was originally from Harvard, now from the University of Wisconsin, who will be our speaker. And the reason I'm bringing that up now, I normally don't do that, is you'll see on the screen in front of you a bunch of amanitas. Now, why would I choose amanitas? Well, in the center is a picture of an Amanita phalloides, known as the death cap, taken in November 2006 when I was the MAWDC program chair and Dr. Ann Pringle came and gave a talk on Amanita phalloides about its invasive nature. So this is a 15 years, whatever the anniversary that is, not sesquicentennial, but I'm sure there is one. So this is an anniversary performance, and just and she'll talk briefly about the death cap. I bring it up also because these are the most ones that you should know more than any others. The one on the upper right, you of course have certainly seen pictures of, and it is the most famous mushroom, the flag eric. But the one on the upper left is the destroying angel, the cousin, and the one that we do have a lot of. We don't have very many death caps, and debatable whether they're very common at all. And the other two are just interesting amanitas. And the one on the lower left shows you how they grow and how you tell they have that cup at the bottom called a vulva, which is this thing right here, or this thing right here. And you can see it there, and you can see it there. So anyway, that is the Amanita phalloides, and Dr. Pringle will talk about that. So I'm going to give a brief introduction for about maybe 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to go into our program, which includes, in addition to Dr. Pringle, a brief mushroom table by Mitch Forney, and also a discussion by our Facebook coordinator, Tom Moore. So I'm the president, William Needham speaking. We also have the other board members listed there. At the bottom, if you want to reach any board member, and people try this, like all kinds of ways of doing this, but as long as you have @mawdc.org, it will come to me. You could put XXX at MAWDC and I'll get it. But it's easier if you're trying to reach Mitch for an A that you put 4 A's, or if you're trying to reach Matt Cohen, you put treasurer. Otherwise, I get it and send it to them, which I'll do. But it does complicate my life a little bit, but that's part of the deal. So here are it's our program schedule for so far this year. It will obviously go out through October, November, December. Once we get that all scheduled, the one for tonight is at the top there. I'll end on that as I turn it over to begin the program. But the point of this is that in July, again, it'll be the first Tuesday, we have mushrooms of Mexico. In August, slime molds, which are not really fungi, but they are sort of cousins and very interesting. And in 6 September, we are planning our first in-person meeting. I'm not sure how this is going to go. That's Labor Day. That's a Monday. We're planning it tentatively for the afternoon, and the subject is truffles. So we're still in the early stages of planning that. So I don't know, just keep an ear on the ground. You'll get an email, of course, on what's going on. And every program, by the way, has the infamous, or should I say, notorious Mitch Forney and the mushroom identification table, which he will follow up on tonight. So we are an organization, In fact, we're an incorporated organization, so we have a board, and we also have business, and that's what I do now, is at least keep you informed as the members. The first thing is I mentioned it last month, we have a requirement in our bylaws. Whenever we change a bylaw, we have to mention it at the previous meeting and then bring it up again at this meeting for a vote. You're not going to vote tonight, but I'm going to send you all a voting email, and I'm going to show it to you one more time. And if you don't remember, of course, some of you weren't here last time, it's basically to compensate MAWDC members, accepting board members who present a program at a regular meeting as the standard honorarium in like manner to a non-member. And we had this because many of our members have been giving talks and they don't get any, and it takes a lot of time. If you have never done a talk, it takes a lot of effort. So second bullet, transition from virtual only to hybrid, that is virtual and personal. I think that's what I meant there by PV, I have no idea. But September timeframe, we'll start transitioning, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll see what happens. A lot of it depends on what the library is going to do and how we're going to be able to broadcast from there or even attend there. I mentioned the photography contest. It is now officially on, but not yet started. So we're going to have it. It's just a question of when, and you'll get an email to send in your pictures and how that's going to work within the next month or so. Sequinoda is our annual foray. It is scheduled for 10 and to 12 September. That will go. We will probably, certainly mostly be outside and probably mostly maskless. And by that time, I would think almost certainly completely maskless. And then finally, the NAMA foray. NAMA is the North American Mycological Association. They have an annual foray. This year it is in Snow Mountain, Colorado, and it's in August. I already mentioned that. I won't talk about that. I usually close with fungi in the news, and I'll do that again tonight. This has really been an interesting month. This was in Scientific American, the first one. Deadly fungi are the newest emerging threat all over the world. I don't know if you looked at this. They kill, this is an estimate now, 1.6 million people annually, globally now, and 300 million infected, primarily Candida auris. In the United States, it's something on the order of 75,000 hospitalizations at a cost of something like 7.2 billion. And these are all obviously estimates, 7.2 billion per year. I put the quote in there because usually you don't get this kind of detail out of Scientific American when fungi are concerned. So fungi break rocks, nourish plants, seed clouds, I'm not sure how true that is, cloak our skin and pack our guts, a mostly hidden and unrecorded world living alongside us and within us. Now there is a completely packed statement from Scientific American I thought was worth sharing. You've heard about the coronavirus in India, and it's now been compounded by this thing called the deadly black fungus. You may have read that. It's mucormycosis is the name of the disease. And it's caused by it's called mucor is the name of the mold, which again is a fungus. So again, bad news for fungi is that we're causing diseases all over the world, and maybe that's part of what it is, but not the wholesome part that we like to think about. Third one is fungi on Mars, and I put that as a question mark. And this is not based on any kind of a sample. This is based on photography, where they saw some stuff that looked like it was growing on several parts of the space lander, and it looked like it was a fungus, and it looked like puffballs. So I think this is right up there with it. You've probably heard the UFOs have gotten a renaissance by the US government, so they're now called UAPs. So this is, I think, a similar phenomenon that is not going to go very far, but that's okay. I thought you'd be interested. The last one is vital, and why I'm stressing this. This was in Science magazine this last month. Plant lipids entice fungi to mutation. This is the first proof, I would say, in the DNA world that liverworts have what we call VAM, vesicular arbuscular mycorrhizas, and they have had them for 450 million years. Algae do not have them, and all of the plants have this same gene, which indicates that the fungi came ashore with the liverworts back at the beginning of the Devonian era. 450 million. This is the magazine on the left, and the picture you're looking at there is showing the cell wars of the liverwort in cyan or blue, the chloroplasts in red, and those are the things that are green, as you know. They should make that green, but they didn't. And the fungi is the green thing in the middle. And the little picture, which is again right out of the article, shows you this arbuscular transfer of nutrients from the soil, from the plant to the fungus, and then the fungus sending back phosphorus and other minerals. And this goes back. So this is the first proof of this, I think, scientific proof. So I thought this was fundamentally interesting and thought you would like to hear that. So that is it for me. I know you've had enough. So now I'm going to turn this over to our, I guess the name would be Facebook coordinator. Tom Moore approached me at a mall meeting about 2 years ago and asked if we had a Facebook. And I told him we'd been trying to do this for a while and hadn't quite, and he volunteered to take it on and has really opened up a whole new venue under our now social committee chair, who's also our newsletter editor, Annie Green. But he's done a marvelous job. So he is going to introduce something I know nothing about, John Cage leaving an indelible mark on the Fifth Kingdom.